So let's talk about the nindroid cuts. Hello guys and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and my buddy Nindroid has finally done it. He's finally released episode 7, his version of episode 7 of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Now, simply put, you might ask, why would he do this? Why would he do his sequel trilogy? Simply put, he's doing this because he's a sequel fan, but he understands that the sequel trilogy has problems, but he also understands that there's so many of us that have issues with it, and he really likes it. He really loves it. And he actually wants us to love it too. So he's not doing this because he thinks that the sequels are complete garbage like I do. He's actually doing this because he really enjoys the sequel trilogy, and he wants us to enjoy the sequel trilogy. So he's trying his absolute best to give us the sequel trilogy that fans like me didn't get. So, with that said, what can I say about the Nindroid Cut episode 7? 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Is it better than the original episode 7? In some ways, yes. In other ways, it's the exact same. Like, the one thing that I always have, and it's just something it's a nitpick, but it's a nitpick that I'm always going to have with the sequel trilogy. I've never liked the idea of Starkiller Base being a third Death Star. And the simplest answer as to why is because when it comes to the Death Star, the first one was blown up. The second one, to me, now canon has gone and destroyed this whole idea, but to me, the second Death Star would have never, ever been able to been defeated. It would never have been defeated if the rebels didn't find it before it was completed. Okay? Because all of the problems with the first Death Star was going to be fixed with the second Death Star. So it makes sense. You're telling me after the second Death Star gets destroyed, they decide to go build a third. Three times the charm, right? No. To me, the technology should have actually improved upon, especially because we see in episode 8 that they have miniature Death Star technology. It's like, I thought from the moment I saw episode 7, what would be cool is if they saw some Star Destroyers with Death Star tech on them, some really big, powerful Star Destroyer-like ships with Death Star tech on them. That's what I wanted to see, and hilariously, we actually get that in 9, but in Star Wars Episode 7, yes, it is there. And in this cut, it's a nitpick, but it is still there. Yes, I am just never gonna like Starkiller Base. But with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the other differences that he's made to the cut. So this is really interesting. And spoilers, if you haven't seen it, go check out the Nindroid cut. But basically, he doesn't have Starkiller Base shooting in the middle of the movie. He's changed it to the end. And I think that by doing that, having Han's death, and then the death of a large amount of the galaxy, seeing everyone die, and feeling that through the Force, that Leia did, it is much more impactful. It gets you a lot harder, and it was a brilliant idea on Nindroid's part to change that Star Destroyer death to the end, Star Destroyer death. That Star Killer base blasting them to death at the end. I thought that was a brilliant change. Now, in terms of the other changes that he's trying to make, I say trying, he did make. It was fantastic. Is the idea that Rey is a Palpatine. And throughout the movie, we actually hear a lot more Sith whispers. And then she actually has Sith eyes when she fights Kylo Ren. I really like this idea. I really like the idea that she had Sith eyes when she is fighting Kylo Ren, because, simply put, she's tapping into the dark side, you know? Her powers are coming too easily, too quick. And that's the whole thing that Yoda warned Luke about. If you're using the dark side, gaining strength too quickly, then it's only going to corrupt you, and it's corrupting her. I actually really like the idea that it is corrupting her, and the Sith eyes, fantastic. There are also mostly small changes, some tweaks to the overall arc of the story, but nothing too major. It's basically exactly like Episode 7, which to me is a good thing. Other than Starkiller Base, I actually really like Star Wars Episode 7. Now, that isn't to say that it was my absolute favorite or anything like that. Simply put, when I saw Episode 7 the first time in the theater, the first thing I said when I got out of that theater is that this has potential. And unfortunately, I feel like that potential was wasted, and I feel like all they needed to have was a plan, just a simple plan, just a simple idea of where to go next, which they didn't have. I simply think that with a simple idea, this potential that was wasted didn't have to be, and I feel like nindroid's version isn't going to have wasted potential. That to me already puts this above what the original Disney-fied Star Wars sequel trilogy did, in my opinion. But there wasn't much changes you have to make with Episode 7. And let me tell you, the changes that he did do are subtle, small, other than the Starkiller base shooting the laser at the end. But like I said, that was kind of necessary because it hits you harder. With the death of Han and the death of course, the entire Republic now gone, it hits you harder. Now, something I will kind of say is I wish that we got a little bit more of the New Republic before it got destroyed. And I feel like that could have been something that nindroid could have added a bit, but unfortunately we didn't get to see that. I'm not saying that any of this is bad or anything. I'm just saying that there are some reasons why I'm not going to give it a 9. These are the same reasons that I'm not giving Episode 7, the original theatrical cut, a 10. I'm giving it a 9 for the same reason. So definitely, this is a new take on the original Episode 7, and I loved it. I loved it just as much as the original Episode 7. I think it has actually improved upon a couple of different things. And yeah, in terms of the overall arcing story throughout the trilogy, I think this is going to improve a lot more. Not saying that Episode 7 didn't do that originally either. I think Episode 7 had a really good start to a story. Really great potential for a great story, and it floundered mostly in Episode 8. So what I'm really interested in when it comes to the nindroid cuts is I'm mostly interested in Episode 8, because Episode 8 to me is the one that squandered all of the potential that came from Episode 7. And I'm really interested in seeing how Nindroid has improved episode 8. Now, of course, I have also been working on the project. I actually created the poster. Me and him worked together very hard on those posters. And the episode 7 poster, to me, as a behind the scenes guy in this, the episode 7 poster, I think fit this movie so well. It really did. I really had a great time doing the poster for Nindroid 243, and I'm really interested in seeing how his cut, how his vision comes to life and flows with episode 8. And the biggest thing is not necessarily episode 7. Episode 7, fantastic, great, we got that out of the way, we got the start to the Nindroid cuts, but I'm mostly interested in episode 8. I cannot wait to see episode 8 and see where the potential that episode 7 was originally lost in the theatrical cuts. I can't wait to see that potential blossom into something amazing through the Nindroid cuts. I cannot wait to see. But until then, I can definitely say this. 9 out of 10. Nindroid, my friend, you did a fantastic job with this movie, and I'm looking forward to episode 8. I'm mostly interested in episode 8. Mostly because I hated the theatrical version of episode 8, so I really am interested. And yeah, for me, headcanon, this is my headcanon. The Nindroid cuts are my headcanon already, and I cannot wait to see what comes next. I cannot wait to see what the story brings next. Just like after episode 7, I couldn't wait to see what episode 8 would bring us. Yeah, that's the thing. People, if you don't know, is I am an episode 8 hater. I really am. But back then, after Rogue One and after I saw episode 7, the potential from episode 7, I was so super hyped for episode 8, and it let me down. And I know Nindroid is not going to let me down like Disney did with this new version of episode 8. So I cannot wait to see that. I cannot wait to see how much that improves the story. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. And all I can basically say before I go, episode 7 was awesome, Nindroid. You did a fantastic job, my friend, and I cannot wait to see your episode 8. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye. 9 out of 10.